Ready to revamp your race team's look? Look no further than Epic Racewear. They're not just any ordinary merchandise supplier. They're the pit crew you need to take your team to the next level. Hats, pit shirts, tents, race suits, flags, gloves, marketing materials, bags, you name it, they have it. Dan Bailey and his talented crew at Epic Racewear will work tirelessly to provide you with an eye-catching design that will make your team stand out from the competition. Let's not forget about their unmatched creativity when it comes to making you look fresh and cool while promoting your partners. Epic Racewear is the real deal. Don't wait a second longer. Head over to epicracewear.ca today and start turning heads with your new and improved look. Trust us, you won't regret it.
This episode of the Stickers and Scuffs podcast has been brought to you by Remax Jack. Jack provides a friendly, customer-driven service in search for homes and provides excellent details on the market, values, and trends in buying and selling. Jack has been able to work with Cam on his search and always makes himself available when he has a question. Remax Jack will help you if you're looking to buy or sell a home within the GTA. He's who Cam K trusts to find his next home, and he should be yours too. Remember, call Remax Jack and start to pack. For more information, go to remaxjack.ca.
Stickers and scuffs in the fast lane, yeah. Live with the raw, feel the drive, yeah. Madness on the track, we ain't slowing down. Cam and Graydon taking it around town. From the bleachers to the pits and pride. Stories scream loud, no place to hide. Engine screaming gas pedal to the floor. Ontario nights, we keep asking for more. Broadcasting live through the middle and night. Under the lights, racing pure delight. Going in a flash burning.
Hey, everybody. Cam K, Graydon Bunn with our special guest this week, SNS Racer from Flamboro Speedway. It's been a while. We had Spencer Riddell, I think, was the last Flamboro racer we had on, and that was a good episode. So we had to bring on probably the driver that's probably drives, I don't know, Graydon, I gotta say, one of the sexiest looking mini stocks in the entire province. When he pulled that car out at Motorama, I nearly had a heart attack. That thing is beautiful. What
That's
a job.
fair to
Now,
say.
let's just say, who was the people that put that scheme together for you? Because they deserve a raise, man.
Well, actually, it was actually my brother and I that did it. We did the entire thing. It was kind of a throwback scheme to Dennis Thompson's. I think it was like a Challenger back in the '90s. So we saw that photo somewhere in a Facebook page. So my brother and I, we came up with this idea to see if we can replicate the scheme, and it was actually mostly my brother's hard work on it, because to get it to look the way it did, he was pretty much having a heart attack trying to get it all lined up perfectly. Because if the lineup doesn't work on the side of the car and it's wavy or doesn't line up perfectly, it's just going to throw the whole thing off. And when you're dealing with a different body style, you got to try to improvise. So we did the best we could, and yeah, we did it all ourselves. My brother and I wrapped that car. So
I'm glad it lasted, because you guys, you didn't have a huge field in the mini stock division, but holy jumping, did you guys have battles this year? The top five were really close all season long. You got the Blue Streak contracting duo of Mercer and eventual champion Matt Young, yourself. You got the Sweet Treat ride from Kate Wallace. That's really had Carl Salt come out for a couple races as well. It wasn't, like I said, a huge field, but you still had to, Mike Gilmore as well as part of that as well. What is it about Flamboro Speedway, man, that just puts on some good racing?
well, I think I don't know. This is where I grew up, right? So my dad raced there, and a lot of my family raced there. So for me, it's just the place itself was just, um, it just kind of, it's kind of like that old throwback to like the beating and bang. And like we always say too, is in a race, you're gonna end up rubbing into somebody. You're gonna end up, uh, getting into somebody, even if you don't want to, especially when you're at Flamboro, because everybody wants to hunt to the bottom, right? So um, it's just the way I look at it is, a little bit of beating and banging, a little bit of rubbing fenders is okay. At the end of the day, everybody, we'll see you next week. We'll do the same thing. No one really got that much bent out of shape over for it because you know what's going to happen. I don't mean for it to happen, but eventually I'm going to run into some.
Yeah, it's the truth, right? Just the cold hard facts.
And
Yeah.
Graydon, I was going to say he put us in a very vulnerable spot too on the car. Him and Caitlin Wallace put us in very vulnerable spots. I was so worried that we were
On
going
the
to get
fender.
scuffed right away, and I think we made it. I think we made the whole year.
I I think you did, yeah, because we've replaced a few uh, front fenders, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but right where you are, right by the door, I think it was just high enough that it lasted for sure.
Oh, it's definitely an eventful 2024, Mike. Tell us a little bit about it.
2024 was, it was interesting. We completely changed the setup in the car from last year. Um, we uh, we wanted to try some things out because if you're gonna continue to do the same things, eventually everyone's gonna pass you. You gotta continue to work at it. And for us, it was a bit of a struggle. You know, we
Yeah.
um, we struggled week to week. Now we tried, I don't know, 4 or 5 different tire combinations. We tried so many things with the setup of the car, and the struggle was is that even though we were competitive and keeping up in the top 2 or 3, 4 or 5 top 5 car, we felt like we were just that little bit short, and we could not figure it out for most of the season. And then I would say probably within like the last 3 weeks of the year, we hit on something. Um, and it was just by accident. My brother said, "Hey, he does all the tire stuff for me." And he said, "Hey, let's try this combination, see if we can get this thing to work." And man, it was a blast to drive. And I think at the end of the year, we ran our personal best at Flambro. We never ran as fast as we did. So I'm optimistic going into next year because I think we found something that is only going to help us going into next year for sure.
So, like coming off for like 2023, for example, which I know was a fairly banner year for you, I'd say. And then, as you say, you can't just sit in one spot. You got to keep hitting a moving target to try and stay ahead of the curve and ahead of your competition. And and you have to kind of assume that sometimes those years it's going to take a little while to come to you. But as you say, once you hit on it, it feels so good once you know that you got something under you that you can go to battle with, right?
Yeah, it was tough. Like 2023, we pretty much didn't matter what we did. We were gonna go out, and I felt like we had a pretty dominant season in 2023. So I think that the following year, you think it's just gonna be the same as the year before, right? I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Right.
But then, just like us at the beginning of the year and how we were at the end of the year. Um, Other cars are going to get better. Like Matt was obviously going to be fast no matter what. Bobby was fast every week. I think Mike Gilmore was the fastest car every week on track.
Hmm.
And we found ourselves pretty disappointed because we were like, hey, this isn't going the way we wanted to. And we definitely, it kind of keeps you grounded a little bit in racing, right? You think that, you can't be complacent. You got to keep working at it. And I tell you, like we'd go home from the track and even when we were winning the year before and this year, we would talk about it on the way home, what we did and what we can do for next week. So after a race, we were already thinking about the following week and things we were going to try.
Nice. That's what you got to do.
It's one of those things that I want to know, Mike, because the there's no secret about the Flamboro. They've had their struggles. They've had their struggles with people going out there and being a part of things. But as you guys showed this year, you don't really need 30 car fields to put on a really good program.
did you find the competition when you went from Flamboro to like say ACC, how big of a change that is? Because obviously you're going from a field where you're going to race to now the mini stock field this year at ACC was 40 cars deep and they weren't taking everybody. So how confident did you feel going into ACC this year?
Well, I mean, I was fairly confident only because, um, even though it was only my second time at the track, right? I've never, like last year was my first time there. And we were running the top three with about 15 laps to go. So I was excited to go back. And I knew that, when you walk through the pits and you see the cars that are there, you know that you're going to have to bring your A game. And I'm not going to lie, after we finished fourth in the first heat, I was pretty nervous going into the second night on the Saturday. And just before, I remember I was talking to Doug Butler, and I said, well, where I'm starting in the field in the second heat, I might have to make a 3 wide going into turn one because I need to get to the lead and I need to win the race because I wanted to guarantee my spot into the Sunday race, right? So it's not until you're actually in that you can actually feel the pressure come off you. Didn't matter until they actually posted the lineup. You knew you were in. You knew you were still a little bit nervous, not knowing what was going to happen, man. And the field is, I mean, y'all were there, to see the race, and it was not a huge field of some of the best in Ontario and probably some of the best in all of Canada were there, and to be able to make that show, that was fantastic. So I wasn't as confident until we actually made the race, because then you could kind of feel that weight lift off your shoulders for sure.
Yeah, making the race with the heat win. That's in your post, like you said, being able to take a checkered flag, whatever it is, at a track that's not your home track. I mean, that feels good, right? I mean, especially in the company that you're on the track with.
I'd never until this year. I'd never actually gotten a checkered flag other than at Flamboro. So whether it's a heat win, a feature win, especially with the competition that you're going up against, it feels good regardless. When you're standing there underneath the flag stand and he hands you the checkered flag to get your photo, it still feels pretty good, even if it is just a heat win. But heat win a win is a win, and it felt pretty good up there in Peterborough.
Yeah, in my mind, there is no such thing as just a heat win, man. I understand the feeling
Okay.
of being out in front of the field, like on a final lap coming to a checkers. I mean, it feels good no matter what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're looking in the mirror and you're just making sure you mind the gap behind me. I know Will was coming in behind me, but I only needed to run as fast as I could just to make sure I got there first. So I know he was closer at the end, but I was just trying to mind my gap to make sure that I didn't wear my stuff just to kind of finish that last lap. But it felt fantastic for sure.
Driver doing driver things all the way to the checkers too, eh? Managing and good stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah.
How'd you find your way to mini stocks at Flamboro, Mike?
It was just a crazy thing where I never raced growing up. I didn't have that story of, when I was 6 or 7 years old racing go-karts. I had turned 40 years old and decided I was going to, race a race car.
That sounds familiar, Graydon.
My man.
So my brother was racing, mini stocks over at Schwegen. And I saw an ad somewhere. I think it was maybe on like Facebook Marketplace where this guy was selling a Mustang. Now they said race ready, but it wasn't race ready. So
that happens.
So anyways, I picked up the car and sure enough, that was right when COVID hit, right? So we started building the car, but then when we finally got it finished, there was nowhere to race. They were just kind of like holding things back, and it was okay because we took our time. It took us almost 2 full years of just taking our time and building things right. And then when it came time to get the motor, all our parts were stuck in the U.S. side of the border because of COVID. We couldn't get them over here, so I took my brother's Mustang motor out of his dirt mini stock, which is a stock motor over there at Oswego. And we ran Frost Overfest with it. And I put a softball hole in the side of the engine block on his mini stock motor because it just wasn't made to run the way I wanted it to over at Flamboro. So I remember when I got out of the car, the safety guys, they looked over me, they said, I don't know if you want to take a look at what's going on over there. So I looked, and I could see, I could literally just reach my hand in and actually pull the parts right out of the side of the block. So I owe my brother a motor after that.
Well, you also got the opportunity to do some dirt racing, did you not?
Yeah, I went this year. Wade Thorne, I contacted him at the beginning of the year, and I wanted to try racing a mini stock over there at Oswego. I was supposed to run one of the races for my brother over at Oswego, but it didn't end up happening because of weather, so I didn't actually race. So I asked Wade if he had an availability with the car, so he was able to hook us up with that, and that was pretty fun. It was pretty that's nerve-wracking too, because the way they set up the handicap system, I was in the fast car heats and had to start at the tail. So you're almost guaranteed you have to go to the B main to even make it to the feature there with so many cars as well.
Right.
And what's the atmosphere on the track there? Because again, contrast, you going from like 8 cars to like 30 that you have to try and race against there, and then of course having to do a B main.
Yeah, and Mark Thorne and I were in the B main together, and he ended up finishing first, and I finished second in the B main. So the thing is that when you're watching, and we're there every Friday night, we're watching Oswego, and everybody sees that the cars are going 4 or 5 wide to the corner. The thing about it is what I notice is being in the car is that I don't know that I'm 3 or 4 or 5 wide in the corner. I mean, I don't have a mirror. I can't see what's going on. So to me, it didn't seem as hectic because I didn't know what was going on around me. And then when you watch it afterwards and you realize how many cars there are beside you, and you think you're on the bottom or in the middle, and there's 3 cars beside you, you don't see that when you're in the car. So to me, it's not as nerve wracking to race it. Is not as nerve wracking as to watch it. When I'm watching, sometimes it gets a little nerve wracking, but when you're in the car, it didn't seem that much of a big deal to me.
That's good to know.
Yeah, when you get out there, buddy, you'll learn now. Get out there, but Mike,
just
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, I just said just hold the wheel straight and just go. I mean, that's my only advice. Don't bother to look at what's going on around you. Just hold the wheel straight and hold your line, and you'll come out the end.
Basically, the typical racing rule: I run your own race and just like you say, it's almost like true to any rule. It's like when you're in your own little world. I mean, you have everything going on that you have to be aware of around you to an extent, of course. But like you say, you don't know if you're like the second car up of like 3 more to your outside, or who knows what. Just point and shoot, right?
Yep. I said you just run your own. You run your own line, and it's definitely a different experience, especially if you've ever had a mirror in your car, right? Because then at Flamboro, I can pace what's coming up behind me, and I can see what's coming up beside me. But when there's no mirrors, you're just, again, if you get into somebody, it's probably because you had no idea he was there.
Yeah, that's got to be something. That's a hell of an adjustment, having no mirrors whatsoever.
Well, and just the fact that you're also, like you said, you don't know what's going, like, in a way, that's such a great skill to have, really. I mean, because you start to learn the awareness, situational awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, the plans, like you said, for 2025 sound to be like you're going to be back mini stock racing once again at Flamboro Speedway. Again, why is it that you want to continue racing in the mini stocks?
I think, well, I just want to clarify. So next year we're going to run, but I'm not going to be running full time next year.
Okay.
My plan is next year is not to run for points. We've run for points for the last 3 years at Flamboro. But my plan is this year is to travel a little bit more. There was a lot of events this year that I would have liked to gone to race to, but never had the opportunity because if we missed a night over at Flamboro, we weren't going to have a chance to go up to the spring velocity or we were going to go up to fall velocity, but we raced the night before and the guys were tired and nobody wanted to go the next day. And so my plan is for next year is race when I want to. And I might give Wade Thorne a call again a few times and see if I can get into the dirt side a few more times as well.
Cool.
I love this idea. And
Yeah.
but you've mentioned, so you got Peterborough, Flamborough, Sunset. Have you raced Sauble yet?
Yeah, we raced there. They had the Invitational a couple of years ago with the mini stocks, and that was the first time there. And to be honest, if other than Flamborough, Sabo is my second favorite track. I had such a blast up there. We raced on the Saturday night, and I left Flamborough in my truck and trailer and drove straight to Sabo on the Saturday night to race on the Sunday. I slept in my truck, and the rest of the guys came up on the Sunday. But I I couldn't wait to get there. I parked. I don't even know where I was when I pulled in. I just kind of pulled into the track, um,
Click.
cracked the window, laid in the back seat, and went to sleep. I think I got in there around 1:45 or something like that, and had myself a quick little nap. And then we were racing again on the Sunday, and I had a blast there. It was it was one of my favorite races
That's
to be
awesome.
involved in.
Graydon, we might have to make a call and see if we can get Mike Thomson in a bone stock race out there, because they don't have the mini stocks anymore, but they do have bone
Yeah.
stocks. So I don't know, an Epic Racewear bone stock race for Mike Thomson, maybe. Sounds pretty good, I think. But it's funny, you actually answered the question before I even asked it about which was your favorite to run on. And we obviously love getting to see people that represent the SNS podcast, and this has been only our first year working together, and it was truly an honor seeing you out there repping us each and every week in that beautiful number 16. And you and Kate always seem to run right near each other. This year it was like you and Caitlin Wallace every freaking week battling for position. I don't know how you managed
In a
that,
music
but
video too, running
and
together,
I was
right?
about to say that. I was like, Graydon Bunn, just the master of segues,
Beat you to the punch.
beat me to the punch with the other SNS mini stock racer, Rory Markle. I don't know how they managed to pick all three SNS mini stock racers
No
to
doubt.
be in the music video, but how cool of an experience was that?
Yeah, it was funny. It was on the Saturday night where we were just kind of getting ready for the feature, and this gentleman came up to me and he said, "I'm going to be doing a music video. I rented the track, and it's going to be within the next few days or the next week or so. And I love the look of your car, and I'd be happy to have you in the music video." And so then he had asked a few other people, and I don't know if it really got anywhere, but I gave him my phone number. He called me a few days later and said, this is the date we're going to do it. Can you get two more drivers? So I texted Caitlin right away, and I asked her if she'd be interested, and she said yes. And then I also texted Rory, and he said yes as well. So yeah, it was kind of a neat experience. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, well, there was a lot of sitting around in the car and letting them get all set up on the track. But I asked the people that I asked people to come that I knew that I would enjoy spending the day with. So, her parents, Kaylin's parents were there, and Rory was there, and then Dale was there as well. And we were all just kind of, just hanging out for the day and having a good time. So, I can't complain. I've never been in a music video. And after you watch like the outcome of the video, I don't know if you guys have seen it
Yeah.
recently, but it was like 338,000 views on YouTube. And I've never been in a situation where anything I've been in has got that many views, but that's pretty fantastic. And I reached out to the artist and I said, it would be a great opportunity for us to partner up in some way because obviously the exposure that we can reach with both of us, I think, would be fantastic for the future. So
I mean,
it
that's
was
what
a great experience.
people need to not be afraid of. I mean, go where people are coming to you, right? And
Yeah, and
I
it's
don't think
really outside the box way to get exposure.
absolutely.
And like racing and music, that's something I always said, like how it bugged me how like Burroughs Creek, as soon as they bought it, Doe's freaking Barry Speedway, like it's music and racing go together so well. So I mean it doesn't matter the genre of music, it just cars and it jives together so good that
I'll
it was
tell you,
cool to watch.
Graydon, people wouldn't put Punjabi music and racing together,
You wouldn't
but you
think so.
but you know what? It's a pretty good bop. I'm not gonna lie. It was
Yeah,
pretty
it's a fairly
catchy.
catchy
So
tune.
and the best thing about it is, and we don't even know how we didn't get called this. We don't know anything about. I was watching the video, and all of a sudden the pretty lady is there, and all of a sudden they start
Yeah.
showing down her legs, and right there is the Stickers and Scuffs logo, and I'm going, oh my god, like we got a
Yeah,
cameo, like
like a
that's
beer
wicked.
commercial.
So I would talk about a really cool experience for yourself. You got all three of you guys being a part of that was so cool. And
Mhm.
Kate even gets, I think you even got a little cameo, I think with your helmet on, perhaps. And so like it's actually showcasing you guys as well, which is that's what we need. I mean, go
Yeah.
outside the box. The one thing I think that we talk about, Mike, and I'm pretty sure people know this, is like there's only one Mike Schmidt. We can't everybody cannot flock to Mike Schmidt for partnerships, and people can't keep
Right.
going to the same people all the time. It just it's not going to work. I mean, what's
Mhm.
happened is we go a little insane. We go to Quick Wick and flood them for partnerships, and then all of a sudden they don't have enough.
Right.
They can't go to all these different partners. But luckily for you, Master Segways right here, you've got amazing partners on that 16 car, beautiful looking 16 car. This is your opportunity to shout out those partners, and not just them, but the people that help you each and every week, that make Mike Thomson a success at Flamboro Speedway, that were part of your championship, that make it make that car go around.
Well, I mean, obviously, first things, my dad is the one that um, every week, whether it's got a little black scuff mark on the bumper, when it comes back the next week, that scuff is gone. He will spend. Luckily, he's retired, so he's got a lot of time on his hands because he'll spend every waking moment in the garage, making sure that the car looks fantastic every week. Sometimes I say to him, it doesn't have to look perfect, but you know what? In the end, I know that it doesn't matter. It's going to be perfect. So he's obviously, the biggest reason why the car looks as good as it does. And obviously, he loves the sport too. Like he grew up racing that Flamboro Speedway as well. And his, cousins with, Don and Dennis and Don Sr. and all those guys. So my dad's been a lifer in racing. So he's the number one reason. My brother, he, he, he does everything from at the track to driver comfort, making sure that my water bottle is full, to fuel, making sure that I got enough fuel in it. Tires, he does everything on the tires, making sure that everything is set up perfectly. I mean, my dad asked me, he says, what do we have for tire pressures? I said, I really don't know. And I just trust Jason that he's going to do whatever it is that he does. And we leave it at that. My Uncle Charlie, he does all the maintenance for the motor. He built the motor for us, and he's the one that maintains it all the time, doing the oil changes on it, setting the valves and all that stuff. So he's a big part of what we do. And him and I talk about, setup and ideas all the time. We'll text each other back and so yeah, so like Troy and Butcher and Banker, huge supporters. He doesn't really get to come out very much, but he's always working on Saturdays. And Attachers Shoes in Dunville, they're a huge partner of ours. Every step made in Canada, Chiba and those guys over there, they're fantastic and what they do and all the help they give us. Speed Composites, that's my Uncle Charlie's place. Fantastic business that he has working with fiberglass and all that stuff. So he does, our hood and stuff like that, just out of the love of doing things for us. And the Nutty Neighbors as well. So they're a huge supporter of ours. And anybody that's ever, touched the car or done anything with it, you guys as well. It was great partnering up with you guys last year, and I've only seen the year before on the side, but when I reached out to you, I was excited that you guys were interested in having me being part of the Stickers and Stuff podcast, and I was glad to put that sticker on the car at Motorama because I was pretty excited to put it.
It was pretty cool
Two-way
having
street.
the champ putting the sticker on the car with the trophy right there. So it was and I felt bad, man. We were just I was so busy, and I know every time he came by, we were trying to chat for like 5 minutes, and it was insane. But we make sure to chat kind of throughout the year, and it's always great having the support and having somebody out at Flamboro Speedway because we only got Graydon and I hadn't been there since 21. And we finally got out there this year for the OSS event, and we didn't even get to talk to you that day because it was so compact.
Short and
but-
sweet, yeah.
yeah, but I love that place so much. What a venue. I mean, you got to sit from the VIP area, and that is the best seat in the house by far. It was
It's
oh
pretty rad.
amazing. If I could take video from there all the time, like Pedal Power, life would be grand. But you know, it's an absolute honor to have had you as part of the SNS Racing family, and of course, we're always willing to have you as part of it, even in part-time in a part-time schedule. So, best of luck in the off season, Mike. Thank you for coming on the show. We had some technical gremlins. It looks like my internet here today actually has been the issue. So it looks like that's the issue tonight. But looks like it went out just again. Literally, the internet keeps going out. So we're gonna have
Okay.
to wrap it up. But thank you so much, Mike, for being part of the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you to both of you for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
That's Mike Thomson here on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast.